Alrighty, the job is essentially done. We're still gonna let it cool down to about 50 degrees before we remove it. But what you might have noticed is that I used a different profile today. I call this one no preheat profile. I still did a little bit of preheating for about 10-15 minutes, something like that. But essentially, I started the profile and it still takes the same time, essentially. Right? It still takes about an hour. But I reduced the ramp to 0.2 degrees per second. So it grows roughly 1 degree per 5 seconds. I might even reduce it to 0.15. And the purpose in this experiment was to see if I can reduce the board flexing, because the success ratio or the success usually depends on how the board flexes. I was also thinking, what if I left the CPU bracket here on the board, right? To prevent this area from flexing. Because essentially, I just want this little area over here to not flex, so the socket can lay flat. Now, obviously, I haven't reviewed the footage. I don't know when the socket dropped and how much did the board flex. I did, because I look at the back and I see how bent it is, right? I didn't notice significant difference, but it feels like it was a little bit less deformed. Now, right now it returned completely to flat position, flat shape. But that's essentially, I think, if I eliminate that flexing, my success rate will go all the way to 100%. Because we don't really have any other issues other than flexing, right? We don't burn the boards. There's no popcorning, no melting of the sockets or anything. All of those problems that I used to have when I started doing this, right? So the only problem left is flexing. So this is my first attempt at minimizing that. The socket looks aligned. I mean, it looks aligned the same way it was aligned before. It's not in the center. It's sitting on the right line. The left line is visible. This is 1851 socket, not 1700. And I don't know if you noticed, but I grabbed the wrong socket. I grabbed the 1700 and I tried to put it on and noticed that it's smaller. So the larger the area, the more flexing impacts the success. I tapped on it. Obviously, I drowned it in flux. I tapped on it. It returned to the position. So all the balls were melted. But I think the only reason it sometimes doesn't work, well, actually two potential reasons. Number one, board flexing could cause damage internally in the board. And number two, some of the balls will not fuse to the pads because they're just too far. Because the socket is sitting, but only corners are soldering on, and the center it doesn't want to solder on. That is less of a problem with AM5, much more significant problem with Intel sockets because of the window inside. It just keeps the socket more rigid, less flexible. But we'll see. I'm sure we're gonna hear from the customer whether it worked or not. It looks good to me. Everything went well. So let's hope this is going to work. Again, this is another board that was sent for $55 service and came in assembled and without the socket. So I'm losing money on these, but I'm gaining very valuable experience. So you can't really complain about that. Alrighty, thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate you. Hope you found this useful, and I shall see you guys in the next one.